Imagine, thank you for joining us as well.
Hey, how's it going?
Alrighty. We have some matches to go over as we close out the music there. Oh my goodness, there is so much to talk about today.
Yes, there is.
Yes. It was quite a crazy, crazy day.
Kirk, would you like to start with the elephant in the room?
What cake is best? OP nerf, please.
You 2-1 using the game time to defeat sacrilege. Now,
Yes.
what was going through your brain while you were watching that?
God. Well, Fox actually put like a lot of work into this Dunes plan, where he drew up with here's the best cover spots for us. We can approach from these directions. We can do these things. We've got all this stuff planned up. If we need to run, we can run to these positions. And I just saw them going. I'm like, go. I figured they were going to that battleship. I don't want to say anything on the stream in case I was wrong, but all I could think of as I was watching them get closer and closer to the battleship, I was like, go, you can do it.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where you're just like at the edge of your seat. Like I'm literally just shaking as I'm like, oh my God, that cake ship is almost dead. Sacrilege might actually be able to pull this off. And right at the last moment, a dust cloud rolls through that allows Cake to drop spots.
Wow.
There's like 30 seconds left. Sacrilege is just like right on him, and then all of a sudden dust cloud and all spots go away, and it's like, well, that'll do it.
You can nearly hear the sacrilege people screaming at the dust cloud. No! Cake is now 2-0 in the Hephaestus challenge. Next week, you guys have the sky invading rhinos to go up against.
And let me just say, Cake is 2-0. Do you understand that in a division with sky invading rhinos, sacrilege, BFS, even Merryman, Holy Roman Army, Cake is leading currently.
Where the tipping threads? Where are the upsets?
And nothing against Cake. I love you guys, but you haven't shown the best ability to do well in tournaments.
And that's And we just went through. I was telling Dan about this. We just went through a massive clan revamp. And it came along with the new clan system in game. We're like, okay, let's redo a bunch of other stuff too that we've been talking about doing, and we've been like sort of implementing. But with the big change in game that sort of kickstarted and really boosted our overall redux of everything. And we haven't taken any focus out of our casual cakes. We're still running the Iron Fork every Friday. We're still accepting people. We're still joining in lobbies and just, random cake invasions of fun and fire. None of that is going away. That is still a very, very large part, and in terms of members, the majority part of what cake is. However, those of us who have elected to become more competitively focused, we have also begun to put more time into them, and that has definitely showed.
Now, I want to ask you this question, because this is something else that I was talking with Oracle quite a bit about earlier today. The two teams that are leading the Anvil division, your stream's division, are Cake and Holy Roman Army.
I know. I don't know what's going. And Bully Boys, the BFS team is 0-2.
That doesn't make any sense.
Look. The thing about this game is just Guns of Icarus in general. You have no idea who's going to win. It is so hard to determine which team is going to come out ahead because on any given day, any of these teams can beat the other one, and so. All this tipping threads, everything that goes on, if someone ever asks me on a stream, who do you think is going to win? I of course have to give my, professional caster opinion, but really I have not a clue because it's such a close match and close game. And as you can see, Cake and Holy Roman Army, I think this might be the first time that they're flying together.
This is the first time they have competed. First time they've ever competed in a major event.
Well, does anyone remember Overwatch in their debut? I think it was Flotsam. It was their first come together as a team, and they absolutely wrecked it.
Oh
That's
yeah, no,
true.
yeah, absolutely. Overwatch. Yeah, I'm not sure if you were here when that happened, Dan.
No, I
But
wasn't. That was before my time. I started casting in November
yeah, yeah.
of
So we
last
had,
year.
yeah, we had like a week-long tournament to determine map titles,
Mhm.
and nobody had ever heard of Overwatch, and they just came out and won, I think, 5 out of the 7 available titles or something.
4 of the 7,
ridiculous.
because
4
remember
out
it
of
came
7.
down to that last day.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
3 and
yeah,
3.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that game was so intense.
Yeah, so it does happen, and that's why you gotta love this game. You never quite know what's gonna turn up, and I'm not sure how the Hammer Division standings have progressed. I haven't been up to speed with that. I don't know who's leading for you.
As it stands, Hammer Division has a couple leaders really starting to show. I think a lot of people predicted that Glowwater Thralls would be ahead in Hammer. I think a lot of people predicted that Ryder would be pretty well far ahead. Both teams are now 2-0. Mad Hatters just got taken apart by the Clamor.
Yeah, I saw a part of that. That was crazy.
It was a pretty well engaged match. Oracle and I both felt though that Mad Hatters kind of made a couple, critical errors, critical mistakes, especially when one of their Pyramidians did charge in solo in that. So we do expect Mad Hatters to really pick things up next week. They did,
it definitely
of course,
seemed like they were getting ahead of themselves in that match a few times.
Mad Hatters did, of course, last week beat the Musasaurs. Musasaurs had a pretty good time against Glowwater Thralls. They actually held up 5-2. They didn't get 5-0'd, which
they 5-3'd last week against Hatters, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people really expected Muse and Muse's team to show up too well, but they're doing a decent job.
No, and it's actually been a little bit more of the norm recently. They've actually come together fairly well. I think even in the Sky League, I think I'm pretty sure they had advanced to round 2, and I'm trying to remember who they played. I think they may have played Clamor, and they did a decent job. That was because they brought a really funky loadout. They pushed that to a game 3.
There we go.
And they brought a really funky loadout on Duel at Dawn, Battle in the Dunes against, I think it was Clamor, and that's pretty much what lost them. They brought like a double Carronade Galleon or something weird. But they really pushed, a really good team at the end there. So
I call dev hacks.
What? They can get some good players together.
They can. They have Frogger gunning for them right now, which, I mean, who saw that one coming? Frogger's flying for them. They do have a couple of the fill-ins, so I think there's some team compilation issues going on where, they haven't all flown together a ton, so they need to kind of get used to each other. But once they really get that amalgamation down and they buckle down and they get everything going on all cylinders, they're going to be a pretty solid team to have to deal with. Next week, they do go up against the Clamor over in the Hammer Division. Other games coming up here, Glowwater Thralls, Mad Hatters. That's going to be a good one. I think Glowwater Thralls has a slight advantage in that. Overwatch gets Deadpool's army next. Ryder versus Holy Roman Army is our cross-division game next week. I am really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Holy Roman Army has shown to be a lot more resilient than I had originally thought they were going to be. It was one of those things where neither Holy or SPQR have been too prevalent in the competitive scene, but they've come together, and both of these weeks, last week they absolutely
they dominated. They 5-0'd.
They came out and they whooped my team's butt. Like, no kidding. I was watching that and I was just like, oh God, what just happened? They just complete obliteration there. Even though it was a little bit of a longer game. And in this case, after being down 2-0 and I think having about 5 minutes left in the match, and I'm thinking, they can't get more than 2 kills in 5 minutes. BFS is just backed up in their O&N. They're sniping out, and they come in and they destroy both ships within like a minute and a half, and then they get into this meat grind and they end up winning 4-2 when time runs down. With like they actually played it out and got like the 5th kill in 15 seconds after the match.
Good Lord.
So and they did that to BFS, who's not a newbie team. BFS has freaking Gilder and Brick flying for them. They had some very experienced members, and yet they still managed to do it.
One thing I was noticing last week when BFS was going up against Overwatch was that there seemed to be some communication issues going on between the BFS folks of exactly where ship positioning needed to happen. And I'm kind of curious if there's something going on there where they haven't been practicing a ton, or they haven't had a chance to fly together. Those two haven't had a chance to fly together a lot recently. Because, I mean, Brick and Gilder, that's a classic pilot combination for 2v2s right there. They've been flying together forever. So why exactly do we see some mispositioning or some ship position issues? I'm very curious about that.
Well, so last week I was willing to chalk that up to the fact that they brought a squid. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, squid just is not very viable in competition. And this time they changed it, and they did very well to start off with. But once again, what actually I think lost them the game is once again ship positioning. They were down in their own end, but their double Merc front Pyramidion was way out in front of their spawn and very low to the ground. I don't know why they were there. All it really did is allowed Holy Roman Army to come right in, get a quick kill on that Pyramidion because it was far, it was very close to them, and they were able to focus fire, no questions. Look, yes, the Junker is Artemis out of. I think it was just BFS positioning their ship down low.
Yes, I do believe so.
Right.
Yeah. So that was my take on it. I don't quite know why Gilder decided to sit a ship with gun arcs that wasn't going to be able to hit anything. That's not like with a Merc, you want to be at the very least higher than your opponent because it's going to arc downwards. Shooting up with Mercs is very hard to do, and if you're like right at the ground level of basically any map, it's going to be very hard to shoot anything that's not also at ground level. And so that was a little bit of my question, and then I think Kirk had a take on it.
Go ahead, Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, it was my perception that what he was doing actually, I zoomed the camera down right next to the Piri, and I was looking at where the blue team was coming in, and who was that against them? I've already forgotten.
Who the BFS versus
it was BFS versus Holy Roman Army.
That's right, versus the Holy Roman Army. I actually put right next to the camera, and I could see my camera right next to the Piri, and I could see where the Holy Roman Army was coming in, and they had just a tiny sliver of cloud cover in the absolute corner that only one of them flew behind. He had a clear line of sight on the other one coming in, even though there was a huge cloud which was blocking the BFS Junker way in the back. So I think he was playing scout and sort of trying to get spots, but the issue is that they didn't, try to go through the clouds and go to the back of the map. They just saw the Piri down there and, engaged him.
Certainly.
So.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that BFS game went. I almost want to say that I think BFS may have played a little bit too conservatively. They got that 2-0 lead, and they really just decided to go back to their own side and wait that timer out. Which isn't a terrible idea, but you're kind of telegraphing where you are. Yeah. If for example they had gone into that very side area by blue spawn where a lot of ships come through, like what I call the Valley of Death,
pipe?
Where you like right around. If they had like sat around the pipe area, do you think Holy Roman Army would ever have been able to find them?
That's true.
Like if Holy Roman Army flies all the way into red spawn and they're like, well, crap, they're not there. Where do we go now? Like it would have taken forever to find them. Maybe not enough time at that point to get 2 kills. It's one of those things where like, what do you really do? You're sure you got a defensible position, but if you get caught, and it's possible, really possible to sneak into that red spawn because of all the clouds that roll through there. And that's kind of what Holy Roman Army ended up sort of doing. Even if it may have been accidental, it was still there, and that actually obscured a lot of the Junker's vision.
Again, impressed, to say the least, by Holy Roman Army and their strong first competitive showing.
That was I mean, I said this on Imagine's stream, but I mean, usually, I'm going to be honest, when I saw the sniper build, I was like, oh no, this is going to be one of those long, drawn-out sniper battles. But the first two matches of the day were definitely among the more exciting games I have seen in Guns of Vickers competitive play. They're definitely up there. My heart was racing at the end of the second one, and maybe that's because I have an emotional attachment to the teams.
You love your cakes.
I don't think anyone can deny that certainly was exciting, and I could not have called that ending until it happened.
I'm sure you're still jumping for joy about that. Again, cake is 2-0. Imagine what else has stood out for you these first 2 weeks of the Hephaestus Challenge.
Well, definitely a part of it is the unfortunate. I really thought that BFS was going to come back strong.
Mm-hmm.
I really did, and to have them down 0-2, fairly big surprise to me. It's not the end of the world, of course. We've got 6 more weeks to go or something.
7, 6 or 7. Let me double check here real quick.
Yeah, well, I think it's 6. Each team plays 7 matches and they have an off week, so it's 8 total weeks. We're in week 2, so Sacrilege losing today, also a surprise, of course, but to kind of even stuff out, or we'll see where it goes, and all these teams are going to play each other once, so we really will find out which one of these teams is going to pull out the best. I haven't been able to watch too much of Hammer Division, but basically from all the surprises that are in the Anvil Division, you can just take a look at the standings. Glad that Merry Men managed to pull a victory today.
Oh dear!
Just I am of course a part of Merry Men, and just for morale's sake, it's such a boost with men, especially once you lost that.
Yeah, things are going robot on me, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it from Anvil perspective. What about you? What's caught your eye so far in Hammer?
Sorry, folks. Things are going robot on me a little bit. I'm getting a lot of frame droppage, despite the fact I'm really not showing anything. Oh my god, my DNS is acting up something fierce. Before I lose any more connection real quick, I want to let y'all know. Wait for it.
Did you crash again?
Did he crash again? Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Oh dear.
What's he gonna let us all know? It could be anything.
It could be anything.
Hate stacking. What is it, Dan? What is it?
Why will you not function?
Yeah, imagine I were saying you just need to buy more internet. That's just the issue here.
I already spent a lot of money on internets.
You need to purchase more of the internet so you can have more of it.
I have a ton of internet.
You need to purchase more, clearly.
No, my ISP just isn't giving me the internet I've purchased. Therein lies the problem.
Fair enough.
Before I lose connection again at all these matches, including what I can scrounge up of the post game, VODs are all going to be up on YouTube. I'm going to get mine up tonight as soon as physically possible. Imagine's yours are up over on your YouTube page?
Yeah, it will be up youtube.com/Imagine42Gaming. I also link the Guns of Icarus forums where you'll be able to find for the respective divisions. I'm actually about to start uploading mine.
Well, there we go. I do need to do some editing on them before that happens, sadly.
Yeah, I've been taking advantage of the clickable thing where you stop and start recording, so that's made it a lot easier. But regardless, yeah, I should have them up in the next hour or so.
There we go. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, folks, for this week of the Hephaestus Challenge. Next week, more of the same fantastic competition. Thank you so much to Fourth Oracle for joining us there. He had some questions to talk about, but I'm not even going to risk it at this point. I just playing it safe because I keep seeing the little box in OBS in the bottom right-hand corner going yellow every so often.
Yeah, it's bad times.
I'm just like,
Nope, not having any of that.
Nope, stop Stop. Thank you, Kirk, for filling in today. I know it was a
My
very big time sink. a lot of time dedicated to this, but thank you for filling in for Morty today.
Hey, we're here to share my happy birthdays with the world. Love you, Twitch.
And Cake did indeed share happy birthdays.
The birthdays were happy.
Imagine, great stream as always. I'm going to go back and watch the videos, especially of the Cake win. And
Yeah.
Yes.
Good work, Cake.
Congratulations to all the winners. Good luck to all the people who went down today. We will see you all next week on both twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show and twitch.tv/Imagine42 for the Hephaestus Challenge. For Oracle, Kirk, and Imagine, I have been Dan. That's the show. Good night now.